damdamin ang kasawian. May bukas pa sa iyong buhay, sisikat din ang iyong araw. Ang landas mo ay mag-ilaw. Sa daigdig ang buhay ay ganyan, mayroong ligaya at lumbay. Maghintay at may nakaraang bukas. May bukas pa sa iyong buhay. Tutulungan ka ng Diyos na may lalang. Ang iyong pagdaramdam, idalangin mo sa may kapal. Nasa puso mo ay mawala ng lubusan. Sa daigdig ang buhay ay ganyan, mayroong ligaya at lumbay. Maghintay at may nakalaang bukas. May bukas pa sa iyong buhay. Tutulungan ka ng Diyos na may lalang. Ang iyong pagdaramdam, idalangin mo sa may kapal. Nasa puso mo ay mawala ng lubusan. Ang iyong pagdaramdam, idalangin mo sa may kapal. Nasa puso mo ay mawala ng lubusan.
Put us deep in believing God, even if we didn't understand the concept of faith. All they said was, believe, God will make it happen. And I always had a question, how can God make it happen? I don't even see God. But they kept repeating and repeating it like a mantra to us. My father, when we were young, we always had a 6 o'clock angelus in the evening. Wherever we were, we had to be home by 6, pray the angelus, wait for them till they come home, meet them at the door, get their blessings, and we were done for the night. But if we forgot to pray because we were playing in the rain, we were always outside because we were a big family. kneel and pray and gave us a little food. The boys got the skunk on their back, but we were just listening. And then after that we had supper. During supper, it was always a together meal. Never was absent. Like the people working at home, together praying, eating. And then was a time my father and my mother would recollect. Sometimes it was a place for us to say, you'll never guess what we did today. But you just have to believe in God. My grandmother, who is just regular, would always question us about these things from God. Don't let anything fall on the floor. The farmers who work hard for it, we do not waste it. The other farmers who buy rice from them, say, no, that's not the attitude. And we were still in that kind of lessons but from our elders. And therefore, as I was growing up to this right age, I realized that faith would take a long time to sink in and grow with constant promptings from the family. And it is where in the family we learn faith. We had catechism given by the Jesuits on Sundays of the Mass. Although the concept was so vague, we did not understand. In the process of growing up, there were so many questions I had in my mind. Being in the middle of the family, when they say, this is God's grace, I would not understand. So I had to read, I had to go to school and learn about it, and still it was very difficult to understand. But one of the most influential people in my life was my grandmother. She was very industrious. She was illiterate, could not read and write, but could only write her name for political reasons. And she bought a property somewhere south of Quezon. And once in a while, she would visit her property. She would bring along money with her around her waist. No bags, but she had money around her waist. And my parents would say, get somebody to go with you. And my grandmother would say, no, God is with me. When I heard that, I said, grandmother, that's blasphemy. No, how could it be blasphemy? God is my companion. And it was a 10-hour train ride. And she would stay there for 2 weeks. And then she would come back. And I would say, how is it? God was with me every time. I said, Lola, grandmother, that's a sin. And every time she would say that, I was always questioning, my grandmother was sinful. Because we never say those things like a joke, but it was a prayer. She believed in it. And until such time that when I was in college, I said, my grandmother was right. I was wrong. And it was the biggest lesson I learned from a very, very simple woman who never had any education. She never read the Bible. But my wonder was, how did she learn this? We had the Bible at home. How did she learn these truths about God? And as I was growing up, I said, and she was saying, school, I joined the farmers movement because I was looking for some answers. Now, this farmers movement is Christ-centered, neither left nor right. We work for the farmers, we work with the government, we do not antagonize the government, but we simply help the farmers, especially the Mayans, get their land through a very, very honest, Christ-centered organization. And it was there also where my faith, where my theology and philosophy took over me. I learned a lot of humility with a group. Because when we were students there, we were made the constant attack by the farmers. You are our enemies. Your parents are our enemies. You spend our money. You made us poor. That's how they would tell us. And then we could not do anything because during the organization, we were taught about the relationship between Christ, ourselves, and the social issues of the day. And it was a tremendous impact on me. It tempered me. I thought I was correct because I was in school, only to find out we were always wrong. And it was a very strong lesson for me to understand the meaning of faith in God, because the farmers showed it themselves. One time the farmer asked a priest, "Father, how could I go to church? How could my family go to church? You say Mass during the day. We work early in the morning. We would go to church. We could not even use the pews in the church because they were owned by rich people." And then the priest said, "It's a pity it happens that way. It shouldn't be. You should be more held high, farmers, because without you, priests are useless, because we would not have bread and wine to offer." And it was an eye-opener. I said, "Yeah, that's right." So the priest said, "You are in the right. You are more holy than us, because you produce the food, the offerings we give to God." And then the farmer said, "Yes, Father, you're right." And the priest said, "And this is a lesson for everybody." And again, that was an act of faith for me to understand. And it was beginning to sink in myself. That's why, in the course of my life, I met a lot of problems, disappointments, being bypassed, being not acknowledged. And I realized that without faith, I will remain in anger. And learning how to practice the faith, the sacred faith of this people, helped me personally to look at life in a different light. I realized that I was beginning to mellow. I realized I began to understand the difficulty of another person. And I remember reading something like, "Why are you complaining about not having good shoes or new pairs of shoes? There are people who have no feet." I said, "Oh yeah, that's right." They were all very strong statements for me. And as I am putting them to myself, I'm beginning to see, I'm beginning to share that experiences with people I meet who are also angry. And I said, "Where is the anger coming from? And where is the anger leading us to?" And then it violates the very thing that God tells us. with God, He will come, He will resurrect us and give us a new life. That, when I started to realize that, again, the ceremonies have new meaning to me again. And therefore, this kind of living in faith has helped me realize that things become easy for me. Life is easy. You can see things clearly, whether it's rain or shine. We begin to accept peace because God gives it. God knows we need them. We cannot complain. And therefore, as I travel along, and I am close to the end of the line. Close. I am trying to share everything to the young children in the family. I share the stories of faith. When they say, what about stories? I'll tell you stories about how I learned this, because there is always God with us. He is always there. And the kids, even the young kids, I try to connect values at home and the religious values. And it's very hard, especially here. But once you have started the kids doing that, believing in God first, then sometimes it happens. Because there is a repetition, like what I learned from home. And I believe that home is a central part where we learn all this about God, the magnitude of God, the love of God, and the saving factor of faith in God. And God said, it's not by bread alone, also by faith. And living faith is charity at work. It cannot stay normal. Faith does not exist in a vacuum. It exists in our relationships at home, with the family, with friends, with strangers, with the poor especially, with everything, even with nature. And that is why I realized that we cannot live faith. It's just, my analogy there is like the cross, the vertical and the horizontal. The horizontal wood refers to the relationship, direct relationship with God. But the horizontal wood is charity at work. When you extend your hand, when you outreach people. Because sometimes I thought I am helped by reaching out. I realize I am the one being helped by these people. When I go home to the Philippines, I volunteer my services to a Catholic foundation of boys and girls who are considered the problems of society. They were too poor to go to school, dysfunctional families, and one of the boys I was teaching was a high school graduate who never learned anything. And one time I asked, how was your stay here in the dormitory? And I was surprised by his answer. He said, sister, we are happy here because we have 3 meals a day. We do not look for food. We learn about God. And I said, oh yeah, you're lucky. And then he said, it is like a paradise living here, considering that the place had no rain. There are no house. The houses here so hot. Only the fruit trees and the vegetation there. But when he said this is like paradise to me, I was floored in humility. Because I did not expect an answer like that. into the hole, into the manhole. But I get up with a smile and I said, thank you, Lord. You tricked me again. I am back to normal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Isabel.